Hi there, Krislyn Mattei here, and I'm excited to share with you today some layout ideas using one of my very favorite Creative Memories products, the Fast2Fab album. Specifically, the new Staycation Fast2Fab album. Now, for those of you who are new to scrapbooking, I'm going to start by going through the basic steps to creating a layout and using the tools. And then with each layout, I'll gradually add additional tools and decorative supplies, and I'll share with you some of my favorite techniques for creating simple yet decorative layouts. So why do I love Fast2Fab albums so much? Lots of reasons. First of all, they give me a base to start with instead of a blank page. I love that each layout coordinates with the next. And I love that it's some of the patterns and the colors are different from the patterns and colors that are in the paper packs that come out with the collection. So it's like you're getting a second paper pack free of charge. It's just printed right on your pages. In the rare instance that a pre-printed layout doesn't work with the photos I'm using, I can simply cover it with paper and move on. And then instead of trying to match someone's t-shirt color, I'm really just coordinating the colors of the album as a whole, making the whole album look more cohesive, and it's also a lot easier that way too. Plus, I don't need all the supplies that I own. I really can just take the album, the decorative materials that come with the collection, and a few basic tools, and I can easily transport it to a crop or a retreat. And finally, when I've filled the album all up, it's just time to move on. I select a different Fast2Fab album and the decorative components that go with it, and I start all over again. I just love it. So when looking at the Staycation Fast2Fab in particular, I noticed that the designers did a great job they created basically 4 distinct layout styles. They've got this one that's got kind of a border on one side, this striped piece, and then a color block on the other. Then there's a layout that looks like this that has a huge block of journaling with ruled lines. I love that. And then lots of saturated color on the rest of it. There's a layout like this that's got bands either on the top, the sides, the bottom, or the top, and it's got a little rainbow piece and a little file folder tab. And then there's a layout that looks like this that's got bands of color across the bottom. And then it starts all over again with those same 4 designs. So I love that. And what I decided to do is create a layout with each of these styles of pages, and I'll just build on it. So I'm going to start really simply with just a few basic tools first, and then I'll build on with each layout and show a few more of my favorite techniques going with each one. So to start with, what we're going to need, we're going to need a couple of Fast2Fab pages. I'm starting with this one. And then we're going to need a corner rounder and a trimmer. So those are our tools. We're going to use a tape runner and a pen. And then for decorative supplies, all we need for this one are the Variety Photo Mat pack, Variety Mat pack, and the pack of Staycation stickers. All right, and of course, obviously we need our photos. So let's get started. The first thing we're going to do is crop our photos down. First, I like to see how they're going to fit on the layout. And what I'm thinking I'm going to do is just place the vertical photos, I've got several here, across this layout. And then I have a few photos that I think I can crop pretty easily. And I want to be able to get as many as I can on this layout. And I have to tell you, I have to share, these are my loving pets and my hubby. And over this last year, I've been so grateful for their presence. I mean, they have just made being at home just so much more cozy and bearable. And so I wanted to do a layout that really reflects our life, our daily life together in our house with our pets. So I'm just going to take these 3 and I'm going to just crop them into squares. And squares work great because you can do that with either vertical or horizontal photos, and it just kind of evens everything out. So let's go ahead and cut this picture of Josie up a little bit. I'm just going to go make these 3.5 inch, and this is the 12-inch trimmer. And so just to let you know a little bit about this, it cuts just beautifully. It's really a lovely tool. It cuts right along this track here. I won't go into too much detail about it, but just know that it's perfect for not only cropping your photos, but cropping paper and other elements that you want to use on your page. And I'll be showing more and more tricks with that as we go along. Next, I'm just going to get this cozy kitty. This is Simon. We're going to get him cut a little bit, lazing on the couch. I'll take a little bit off the top. And then we have Stella napping on the rug. All right, so we've got all the photos we're going to use here. Set the trimmer aside. And I'm just going to lay my square photos across the side like so. And then I'm going to round the corners of these vertical pictures. And I think that just adds a little bit of, just a little finished look. I don't use the corner rounder all the time, but I do like it sometimes, just to add a little something. This one also does a corner in a different way. If you wanted to snip it more of a concave look, you've got another option there. So now I've got the photos, and I think what else I want to add on here is just a photo mat, a variety mat. The pack comes with all kinds of options. I use them a lot, and especially with the Fast2Fab album, they are really a great way to do journal boxes, to mat a photo, to add a title to your page, and they're nice. It's a thicker cardstock too, so you've got lots of opportunity with those. So I'm just going to take this one here and I'm going to set this down here. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and use my adhesive and tape everything down. Now what I like to do sometimes is overlap and angle some photos. And when you do something like this, I think it really helps add a little movement and a little fun, a little life to your layout. So I'm going to just do that with those. You just need a little bit of tape runner on each corner, and it's great. That's really all you need. A little dab in the middle. Okay, I think all this needs right now is just a little bit of stickers, just to liven it up a little bit more. And the sticker pack has lots of options. I think I'm going to use this little rainbow, and I'm going to add some more rainbows to this layout. I'll just add these right up here. Just adds a little more fun, a little more color. Thankful for our furry friends. I love that. And that little guy right here. cluster stickers a little bit in just a few spots instead of putting them all over the layout. That way I think I can, you know, it's not like a sticker sneeze. It's just kind of thoughtfully placed. All right. Okay, so I think I've got all the stickers that I'd like. Now all I need to do is take my pen and do a little bit of journaling in my space right here, and I'll be done with this layout. Okay, so here is my completed layout. And you can see just by adding journaling how much it finishes the page. And I love it. It's simple. It tells the story of my cute pets, and I love how it turned out. So let's go ahead and move on to the next layout. For this one, you can see this type of layout is the big journal block on the side, perfect with ruled lines to tell a big story, and then just lots of rich color to serve as a good backdrop for photos. And I love this. All we're going to do with this layout, we're going to add a couple more decorative supplies. We're going to add in some of the designer papers from the Staycation paper pack. And we are also going to add in some of the adorable embellishments. So to start with, I've got a bunch of photos, and this is from an event that my husband and I were able to get in on this last fall. You know, in a year when we weren't able to do much, this was such an unexpected treat. It was right, we were tourists in our own town, and we were able to spend an evening outside enjoying the grounds of this gorgeous mansion and enjoy some music and the colors. And it was all socially distanced and outside. It was wonderful. And so I really wanted to tell the story of this event, and I did take lots of pictures because it was just such a treat. So this is a perfect layout for a story that needs to be told. So I've gone ahead and cropped my photos already, and I'm just going to go ahead and lay them out on the page. Lots of room to keep them nice and big. And we'll just do something like this. And then I think I will add just another variety mat as a photo mat for this photo, just to kind of pop it up, punch up that green color a little bit. And that's all I really need to do. But you can see that I do have a lot of extra photos, and I want to include them. So what I've decided to do is use a Peekaboo Pocket. Now these are some of my very favorite products. There are 3 different sizes. There are the 4x6 or 6x4. There's the 5x7 or 7x5. And finally, there's this 6x12. And this is the size I'm going to be using today. So in order to use this, what you need to do is figure out where you're going to want to place it. And because this is a large pocket, it's going to be a little heavy once it gets full. And so we have to decide, you know, it works best to put them on underneath the page protector right on the page with these large ones, and just adhere it right on the page, and then it'll swing open. So you can do either of the insides or the outsides, just so that it can come out from behind the page protector and be like an extra small page, if you will. And so what I like about these is just being able to add more photos, yet still keep it within that same story, that same layout. I could do another couple of pages, but I'm going to be telling the whole story right here, so I'd rather keep all the photos together. So to do this, I just want to create a background for this pocket, and so I'm going to cut a piece of the designer paper, and we're just going to make this piece a 6-inch long, 6x12-inch long piece, and this will just be what I adhere my photos to. And so we know that the pocket will swing open this way, and then it'll swing back over this way. So I'm going to go ahead and put my photos that I want to swing open this way right on this piece. And again, I've already cropped these photos. So this is kind of how I'm going to arrange them on this side, and I'll go ahead and tape them down. The way I've cropped my photos is pretty much 3.5 by 5.5 for the most part. There's a couple that are 4 by 5.5, but it just allows there to be a little bit of an edge of the paper showing, which kind of serves as a mat. That's all I need to do for that side. Now when the pocket's going to swing open this way, this will be what is showing. So I'm going to put my photos going on this side right here, and we'll tape those down. Okay, so once you figure out which direction you want to put your pocket, I think I'm going to have it adhere. There's a little spot here with adhesive, and I'll put that flap right here along the edge. And so I want that piece, this is what I want to be over on that side. So I'm just going to slide my pocket, my paper with the photos right into the pocket. Okay, so it's going to go like this. And then I'm going to take the adhesive off the back. And you have to just kind of use your fingernail to find it there. And then that's the piece that you'll want to put down. So just carefully looking for the right spot before I let the tape fly here. And then you can reinforce it, and it's all set to go. So this is my pocket, and it'll open right up, and I'll be able to see the rest of my photos. Then I think I'm going to add a few stickers and embellishments. I have a few that I think would look perfect on this. There's the Staycation, Welcome to Staycation. And we'll go Outdoor Oasis over here somewhere. I'm going to play around a little bit with it and do my journaling, and I'll come back and show you my completed layout. Okay, here is my finished layout. I had lots of room to tell my story about this fun evening, and then I was able to add some extra photos with a large 6 by 12 Peekaboo Pocket, and then I just added a few of the embellishments and stickers, and I'm good to go. I love how it turned out. I love that there's lots of room for all those photos and for telling the story. So before we move on, let me just show you how you go about putting the page protector on after using one of these large Peekaboo Pockets. You'll notice I did stick it right down onto the actual page, and I'm just going to take a scissor and I'm just going to trim off the little corners here so that it's easier to slide that page protector on. Now I just take my page protector, I open this up, and I'm able to slide the page protector on. Goes all the way on, and then you can close your pocket. So everything's protected and it looks great. So now let's move on to the third layout. For this one, I'm going to use this layout that the designer created. Again, there are 4 of these types, different colors on each one, that just have a cool color band across the bottom. And for me, I looked at this right away and I thought, oh, this just needs a quick little punched border and it's great. So the photos I wanted to use with this are just documenting some of our many summer food extravaganzas, just the 2 of us at our house, you know, making do without going out to eat. And I got my husband a smoker for his birthday, so we used that quite a bit and just enjoyed beautiful evenings on our lawn. That was kind of the story of the summer. And there's a lot to be grateful for, and I love some of these memories. We took time to do these things that we don't often take time to do. So this was great. So I just wanted to tell that story a little bit. So again, I've got a mixture of 4x6 photos, vertical and horizontal, and I'm not going to crop any of them except for this one. Now, I know some people feel like, really, you're going to take pictures of food, but I feel like it tells part of the story and it enhances the story. So I'm going with it, and I love my pictures of ribs, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the cutting system to cut this into a circle, because I really don't need this to be a huge, big 4x6 photo. I just want the essence of it. So I'm going to use the large pattern, the circle pattern. Now, the cutting system comes with, you can get all different kinds of patterns. So if you'd rather do a heart shape, or you want to do a square or rectangle or oval, you've got lots of options. I think if you're getting your first set of patterns, you cannot go wrong with circles. They are just the best. Really versatile first cutting system tool to have. And this allows you to add more photos on a page that can overlap and fit into some little smaller nooks and crannies. So for this one, I'm going to use the green blade. And you want to it has these two little knobs that stick out, and you want to just make sure that those two knobs are firmly in the track, and it can go either inside or outside. And the green blade is the one that cuts right in the middle between the two. The red blade cuts a little closer to the pattern, and then the blue blade cuts the furthest out. So the green one's right in the middle. And I'm going to go ahead and center this on my layout. You can also use the pattern, the template that comes with the cutting system, place it over and use it as a guide. I've used this enough that I kind of know where it's going to cut. So I'm good with that, and I'm just going to eyeball it. And making sure that both of those little knobs are in the track. Hold it firmly and go all the way around your photo. Always make sure you're using the cutting mat. You don't want to cut a big circle out of your table. So here we go. It's just, you know, it's simple. It's just a little piece of that food, but I just wanted a little something. And you can see then that it'll just kind of tuck nicely right in here. Okay, so that's that. And then I just want to make a little mat for the outside. And so to do that, you just take the next pattern, bigger, which is going to be this one, the red blade. And now I'm going to cut a circle from this white paper. Using that. So now we've got a perfect little photo mat for that, and that'll just tuck right here. Okay. Now I'm also going to cut, I just want to have something that kind of matches on the other side of the layout. So I'm going to cut this photo mat as well, or this variety mat. And we're just going to cut this using the same blade. Make sure it's in the track. And I can save this and actually use it to mat a photo or something else along the line, but those are definitely things to keep. And then I'll cut another white piece so I have a mat for it. All right, so we're all done using the cutting system. Now let's see how the layout's shaping up. So we've got our photos, we've got our little embellishments, and now I really want to get going on that border. So let's take out the Dine border punch. I think just talking about our summer meals outside would be perfect with a little bit of silverware and plates running along the bottom. So to do that, we just unlock the punch and we take our paper, and you want to slide the paper in so that it's all the way lined up against the back and it's aligned with one of these little black marks on the side. Punch and then move it down until the pattern lines up perfectly. Oh, right here. Okay, making sure you're still lined up at the back. Punch again and just keep on going. Okay, we need 2 of these, so I'll go ahead and punch another. Now you can see just how cute that's going to be. I love with these colored bands across the bottom. I love how that looks. We don't even need anything else. We can just simply adhere our little borders right to the bottom, and look how much difference that makes. It really creates a theme. So I'm going to go ahead and tape those down. And I like to use a repositionable tape runner for this. And what I love about that is that you can apply adhesive. It's the one that looks, the cartridge is green, and it's all clear dots. They're translucent and they only stick to your paper. You can rub them off your tabletop or wherever else, and it's perfect for all these little tiny shapes. Perfect. Okay, let's do the other one. All right. Now I'm going to bring the trimmer back, and I think I want to add just a little bit more color to a couple of these photos. I don't usually mat all the photos on my page. That's a personal preference kind of thing. I like to mat a couple though, just to make them stand out and to add a little color. And we'll bring some of that green back up. So I'm just going to cut 6.5 by 4.5 inch mats for a couple of the photos. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to finish adhering all these photos on the page and add a few more embellishments, and I'll come back and show you my finished page. Okay, I'm just about done with this layout. I just was adding the last of my embellishments, and I like to pop them up sometimes using some foam squares, and it just adds a little dimension. And I really like how that looks. So I don't do it with all of the photo or all of the stickers and embellishments, but I do like to use it on a few. So you just put them on and peel off the backing paper, and then you can pop them on. And it just kind of adds that little finishing touch. So now I have this layout complete, and I like how it turned out. I think that border across the bottom was just what it needed to kind of tie the whole theme together. And I'm happy with it. Looks just great. So let's move on to our final layout. So this is the last one. And this is one that I love for just the cool look that it has. It's really got these neat bands across it, and I love especially this one section that just screams to me to be a perfect spot for a really lovely border. Just one, pull out all the stops, fun decorative border. So for this layout, we're going to add a few more tools. We are going to add the border maker system and the dragonfly punch. So we'll play with some decorative trimmer blades. We're just going to add a few more fun tools that'll just make everything pop. And we might need to add a few more Peekaboo Pockets because you can just never have enough of those. So the pictures I've chosen for this layout, because we always want to put the photos first, are pictures from, again, our yard from last summer. You know, we had done a lot of work on our house the last few years since we bought it. And this was kind of the first year that we had a chance to actually plant some flowers. My husband rebuilt some shutters and window boxes, and I had a lot of fun playing around with that. So I have more pictures of that, and I really wanted to showcase them here. So again, nice and big photos of a little yard fun, playing a little cornhole. And then I've got just lots and lots of extra photos. And so to me, I thought this would be the perfect opportunity to use some more Peekaboo Pockets so I can fit them all in. So let's just go ahead and plan that we're going to do a couple of photos like so. And we'll add some Peekaboo Pockets to fill it all in. So this is the basic layout. And now I just want to add a fun border over here on the side. So we're going to get out the border maker system. And this system is just the best. I love everything about it. It allows us to create some really interesting elements for our pages. So there's the guide, there's the border maker, and then there's different cartridges that you can get. So it'll punch all kinds of different things, and lots of people love to collect those border maker cartridges. So we're going to go ahead and punch a couple of climbing vine borders. So you want to lift out the little tray that goes underneath, open up the holder, and then slide your paper in so that it just rests on the edge of this little drawer here, if you will, the tray. Snap this in place and then fold that back behind. Now your paper is in just the right spot for punching. You take your cartridge and you just slide it in till it kind of locks and the top extends. And you just slide this between your paper until it locks into place where these two little knobs meet. Go ahead and punch, and then you just move it along till it locks in place at the next spot. Okay, so we have one border, and now we're going to punch one more using a little bit lighter green paper. Okay, I think these will be perfect on a layout that's all about the yard and gardening. So next we need to find something to put these little borders on. I'll get the trimmer back out, and I am going to use one of the decorative blades that comes with the trimmer. There's so many different ones that you can get. It comes with the straight blade, but you can get several others in all different shapes. My favorite is the Scallop Blade. And when you use the Scallop Blade, pull out the straight cartridge and place the blade so that the scallop, the word scallop, and the little shutter flower printing is on top, and then place it into the housing with that facing left. Okay, snap it shut, and then you've got it in just the right spot. So we're first going to cut a little bit off of one side, just so we establish that scallop edge. So I'm going to go ahead and just cut the edge off, toss that, and now we've got this perfect little scallop edge. And I'm going to flip it around to the other side. And I'm going to maybe cut somewhere around, what, 2 1/8. And that'll be a perfect little background for this. Pop this back out and put the straight blade back in. And then I've got a nice little spot on the back of the trimmer to house everything and keep them from getting lost. And then I just need to cut a 1 3/4 inch strip to go on top of that. I really love borders because they are decorative and they really can accentuate a theme on a layout without really detracting from your photos. It'll enhance your photos and, you know, accentuate the theme you've got going, but not obliterate your photos with too much decoration. So I really do love that about them. I've got my repositionable adhesive again, and I'm just applying little bits to the border. I'll do that on both of them here. And I'm just going to lay them side by side on this white strip. Simple border, but really has a nice kind of wow effect when you put it all together. And it's just different layers. Depending on the amount of space you have, you can make these layers wider or narrower. I just wanted one that was pretty narrow, pretty average size, so that it would fit right in this spot right here. Isn't that awesome? I love how that looks. So I'm going to go ahead and get that, pure that down. And now you can see just how quickly that added a little something to the layout. Okay, so maybe what I want to do now is add a little bit more of, you know, a matte just to add a little color. So I used another one of the variety mattes. And I'll attach my photo to that. Again, it's not often that I matte every photo on a page, but I do like to set some of them off and to just add a little color. But what's nice when you're using all the different pieces that go to a collection, all the decorative supplies, you've got so much to work with. So it's really fun to be able to use the papers and the mattes and the stickers and the embellishments while still using the Fast2Fab pages. I think it's the best of everything. Okay, so that side looks all right. I think I need to add a little bit more color. Let's bring a little bit of that gold color over to this side. Maybe accentuate my golden retriever's fur, and she barked on cue, if you noticed. So I'm just cutting a 6.5 by 4.5 inch mat. just add this to the layout. And then I just have these photos over here. And again, I mentioned I have lots more photos to use. So I think I'm going to use a mat as a journal box, and I'm just going to adhere that right to the page. And then maybe I'll adhere, this one to the page too. Okay, so we have the base for that, and then I want to use Peekaboo Pockets to sort of allow me to add more photos to the page. And what's really fun with Peekaboo Pockets too is that it adds an interactive element, and that's just more fun. It's just plain fun to use them. So I am going to put a couple of them together, and I want them to open up like a hinge like that. So I find the opening, and here's the flap. I find the opening and I make sure that the flap is on top. And then the photo that I want to be on top, I locate that. And then I decide which one I want to be on the back. And I flip it upside down because that's going to be where it lines up. And I'm going to put a little bit of tape on there so that they stay together and have a nice clean look inside. I'm going to open this back up and I can place the photos in the pocket. Now you'll see that when the flap is closed and it's adhered, it's going to go like this, and it'll act as a hinge, and it'll open up like that. So I'm going to do the same thing with these other photos, making sure this is the one I want on top. And so the one I want on the bottom, I'm going to flip upside down. And I'll adhere them together. Make sure that I have located the opening, and the side with the flap is the one on the top. And I'll slide my photos in, so when the flap is closed, it'll open up like so. Okay? And I will show you how to go ahead and adhere those on top of the page protector when we're all finished. I'll set them aside for now, and let's just go ahead and add a few more embellishments. So I do have a few embellishments that really lend themselves to this theme. So I'm going to apply adhesive and tuck them down. And I'll add a few foam squares to this one. Just to give it a little dimension. And I've got a little tree I'll put up there. And I'll use foam squares on this. And then let's do a little more embellishing on our border over here. So we have some space to do some more little fun things on here. So besides adding an embellishment, I want to use some of these dragonflies. I think these would be adorable. So this dragonfly punch works just like this. You take your paper and you simply punch and the shape comes out. I think this is just the perfect little touch to add to this border. Mattei. I'm going to finish this up and I will be back to show you the final product. Just a moment. Okay, so here's the finished layout. And I love how the border just adds to the theme. The dragonflies kind of run across the page and just kind of help to create that homey vibe. And all I have left to do is to add my Peekaboo Pockets onto my page. So we don't want to adhere them directly on the page because we want to put our page protectors on and still be able to flip them. So what we want to do first is we'll put the page protector on. And then we'll take our Peekaboo Pockets and we'll just peel off the little adhesive backing here. And then we just eyeball it and we just place it directly over our photo. And it's pretty forgiving. If you don't get it in the right place the first time, you can easily lift it back up and try again. And we'll do the same with the bottom one. And there it is, a fun little interactive element. You could add a little sticker or something to the bottom if you wanted to create kind of a little tab to lift it up. So we'll just add a couple of those. And now it's just kind of easy. It's just a little easy reminder. Maybe I'll put this one over here to lift them up. So a really fun little element to add to your pages. Well, that wraps it up. So now I've shown you ideas to complete all 4 styles of layouts in a Staycation Fast2Fab album. And I've shown you some of my favorite tips and techniques for using the best creative memories tools there are. So I hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope that you're inspired to incorporate Fast2Fab albums into your scrapbooking. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.